Hey, how's it going, friends? So, to the best of my knowledge, that was the first serious attempt at stop motion I ever did. And next time I'm going to take definitely more photos. I wanted it a little choppy, but I feel like, I don't know. I guess I won't complain about it. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I'm going to take like twice as many photos next time and make my movements a little more refined. So having said that, I hope you enjoyed the intro. And I'm gonna be doing a lot of testing to the FeiyuTech G6 Max gimbal. It's not meant for a full-size camera, like a full-size DSLR or mirrorless camera, but it will handle, well, you'll see. You'll see in a minute here. So if you're worried about it handling your point-and-shoot camera, whether it be a Sony ZV-1 or a similar sized camera, don't worry at all, because it'll definitely handle that and more, which means you'll be able to add a mic to it without worrying about it not balancing correctly and acting funny. Before I started the review, I did a lot of testing ahead of time. I always try to get to know the gimbal before I start filming instead of while I'm filming, and it was a little bit to figure out. I kept forgetting how to switch all follow and lock mode. I kept forgetting. I kept pushing the wrong button. I kept hitting the record button on the front and wondering why it wasn't switching and turning it off and on.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
So I'll save you the trouble there. It's not the record button. It's on the right. You have to get used to it. It's beside the record button. I don't use like the wireless controls on any gimbals. I don't use them. I'll just adjust my camera if I need to, and I'll gently reach if I have to change anything. Usually I will do different cuts if I have to adjust anything, like if I'm outside and the sun comes out. But I'm just rambling. So let's get to the tests and see how this gimbal handles the Josh Zaring method. So I realized that I have large cameras and small cameras and nothing in between that would be the maximum load test for the G6 Max, but just keep this in mind. This is my EOS R with a RF 35mm on it. A much heavier, bigger camera than intended for this gimbal. And though I would not recommend using it heavily like this, I would not recommend this gimbal for a full-sized mirrorless or DSLR camera. It is handling it right now, which is pretty amazing. I've had a lot of other gimbals this size, and none of them have been able to handle a camera this big, because you're not supposed to. It's not built for it. But just FYI, if you have a Sony ZV-1 or any of the small point and shoot Canon cameras or anything that size, like this size, smaller than this, lots smaller than this camera, it should be great with this gimbal. Now the G6 does have a lot of expected features that you would normally find in any gimbal, any modern gimbal, but these locks, these axis locks are really handy. You can lock it in place while you're balancing, one motor at a time. Before you turn it on, make sure you turn them off. Make sure you unlock it before you turn the gimbal on, because that'll stress the motors. And the adjustments are knurled, so it's this whole ring around here. This whole ring unlocks and locks, so you can adjust up or down. Make all your adjustments when you're balancing your gimbal before you turn it on, and then you turn it the opposite way and it locks. And they're very textured, knurled aluminum. It's very easy to grip, and it isn't a pain like a lot of gimbals are to move. And also, This arm I usually have trouble with when I'm adjusting. With other gimbals, it doesn't want to slide very well. You kind of have to use both hands, and it's kind of hard when you're trying to figure out how you're balancing the camera in the first place. You want to kind of hold onto the camera and push this, but this is actually really easy to slide. So that's another nice feature that's kind of not like in the top 10 mentioned things about gimbals. Setting them up is a big deal, and setting them up quickly and painlessly is an even bigger deal. So I just wanted to point that out, that it's easy to balance and all the controls are easy. They're not a real pain to adjust. So the first test I'm gonna do is walking on the GoPro with the GoPro Hero 7 with the stabilization turned off, and see how this does. Before I brought it outside, I noticed there was like some kind of play in the top motor here. When you move it really fast, you can feel it kind of click. I'm not feeling it right now. I did turn it off and back on again, so maybe that corrected it. I don't know. But I'm gonna start walking and see how it does. It's gonna get shady through here. It's a pretty bright day, but there's a lot of shade here. I'm gonna spin it around now. Probably gonna not talk too much now. I'm just gonna do a bunch of tests. So just watch and see how much it shakes. You can see it's sort of windy. I'm gonna switch to all follow now. Now I have it in locked mode, so I'm gonna go down this field into the woods and see how well it keeps its direction and keeps it steady. So that didn't seem very exciting. So this time I'm gonna run in the direction that it's pointed. So I'm gonna reset this. So it's reset now, and I'm gonna run all the way to the road there. Whew. So was it steady? I stepped into a couple of little dips there. Still have it locked. See how it goes. Okay, now I'm gonna invert it the best I can. There are hard stops, so you gotta kind of figure out how to hold the gimbal so you can hold it low to the ground. So I'm gonna do that and get as close to the ground I can without scraping the camera. So now I am on the iPhone SE 2020, the slightly bigger new version of the iPhone SE, and we're gonna do the bike test. So I have to do it one-handed, so I'm not gonna be hitting too many bumps, but I'm gonna try to at least ride through the yard and have my right hand for my back brake. Okay, I'm on the road right now, and I'm gonna go up here and ride through the field here and down into one of the trails around my house. So let's hold on for the ride here. I am now holding on to the handlebars, so it's probably going to be really shaky. I'm now doing the testing on the road. I learned pretty quickly that the gimbal is too big to hold on to, and I need both hands to go on a trail with my bike. It's not 100% the gimbal's fault that it's too fat, but in addition to that, I don't know how to turn off the iPhone stabilization on the default app, and boy oh boy did that make a mess. I mean, you saw it. Oh man, it looked like the iPhone was submerged underwater, so not the best test. But now we're on the road and I'm pedaling a little bit heavier uphill, but we're hitting twigs and stuff like that. I assume it's not too noticeable. I'm gonna hit this pothole. It's also worth noting that I have my suspension locked out. I've noticed with the new iPhones with the stabilization, it's very, very good, but if you get in a situation like we are right now, where it's just slightly not sunny, it's a little bit of shade, and you start bouncing around, it creates something that I would consider worse than shaky footage, which is like jello, like underwater jello footage. It just looks awful, and I hope they fix it. But I know part of it is actually lens image stabilization and electronic stabilization. But and I know there are apps where you can just turn all that stuff off. But this is for your average user here. I'm using the built-in camera app on iOS. So what I'm gonna do now is go up to the top here and then run down, and this fence here will let you see the shake. Hopefully, I'm hoping that test will show the shake, because there's a base to judge straight lines with enough that you can see sway and up and down motion. So we're gonna test that. But first, we're gonna walk up it so you know what we're looking at here. And as you can see, this is as smooth as you can get right now. And I think we have just enough light that the iPhone is happy with it. So now I'm gonna run down through there. And just in case you've never seen any other my gimbal reviews, I will tell you whether I'm doing the gimbal ninja walk or if I'm just walking heavy-footed, like mindlessly walking as if I weren't filming. So that was just straight up running. So if it's shaky, it's shaky, and that looks bad on the gimbal. I don't know yet because I'm talking to you and I haven't watched it on the computer yet. So just to let you know, my reviews are 150% honest reviews. I don't baby it. And this is probably the fifth gimbal that I've reviewed for FeiyuTech, and they keep sending me gimbals, so they must be happy with the honesty. In all fairness though, the AK-4500 gimbal, the one I use professionally, is my favorite gimbal of all time. So I am partial to FeiyuTech, but if something good comes along, I'll use that too. Doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter. Okay, I'm gonna put it in off follow mode, sort of low to the ground and just do some regular gimbal moves that a normal person would do. And this will be ninja-footed gimbal walking. So this should be smoother, and plus I'm not running or riding a bike. So this should be good footage. Should be. You're gonna shake it. Shaking it. And it's handling it. Up and down. Up and down. Left and right. Up. Tripped it once and all that. And that's only because I was going ultra fast. I started getting carried away. So thanks for checking this video out. As usual though, there will be links in the description of this video to purchase and to read the full-on specs of the gimbal. It's capable of a lot more than I covered here. I'm just used to reviewing things as I would use them on a daily basis. Well, use and abuse them on a daily basis. Some of my clients and some of the jobs that I do for myself, I push things like these to the limits and do things that they're not really intended for, which is why when I review it, when I do the tests, I'm a little bit hard on them. I don't beat things around. I've said this in multiple videos now. I don't intentionally beat on things. I take very good care of all my stuff. But if I need to run behind a mountain bike with a gimbal, I need to do that. So if I have to do that, and I know that, that it's a normal thing for me to do that, or follow behind on a mountain bike with a gimbal, following another mountain bike, things like that, then I need to know that my equipment is capable of that. So that's why I do that. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe and tell your friends, and give that video a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you really didn't appreciate this video. And remember, create, share, repeat, and keep it awesome. I'll see you next time.